As I was preparing to make this video, news broke in India that 3 young people had died through a LiPo phone battery fire whilst charging the phone, and that 2 further were in hospital in pretty poor condition. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of those who died and for those who are recovering. Hi and welcome again to Tech It Out. In my previous video, you can click above to see it, we talked about the various LiPo fires that have happened recently, the hoverboard fires and the various mobile phone fires, culminating in the fires that led to the withdrawal of the Galaxy Note 7. Recently there's also been a warning put out for the Boosted Board 2, a problem with the battery in that as well. Now, in my previous video we looked at a product called LiPo, which was purportedly supposed to contain any fire, and we put it to a test, quite a simple test. I used some charcoals which I put in the bag to give the heat. I closed the bag and they almost immediately started burning through the interior of the bag. I did have a question about this, but I opened the bag up after it had started burning through the interior. It was a bit difficult to see. Then I added some heat to it, extra heat from a blowtorch, which immediately set it completely on fire and caused it to burn quite vigorously, putting off some very noxious and toxic smoke. After doing this, I reached out to a UK company regarding one of their products. Now, I've got to say straight away that this product is not built or meant or manufactured for this purpose, but it seems to suit the purpose quite well. The company duly sent me some items to test, and I'm very grateful to them, because putting something that's not meant to be used in this fashion to a test like this, they are quite brave to actually send it to me, so thank you very much for that. Unexpectedly, they contacted me and said they were actually looking at producing an item to use for this purpose, and that they would send me a prototype, which they duly did. And as you saw in my unboxing video, they sent me 2 items, one a very large box, and the other was quite a large pouch. What I'm going to do with these is exactly the same thing as I did with the former item, the LiPo, and we're going to see if these can withstand the heat from the charcoals and then from the actual blowtorch itself. This will take a little while, and this is the boring bit, because as I said in my last video, I don't want to make any cuts or speed anything up to give the impression that I'm trying to fool you in some way. I want you to see it in actual time, so you can see the process that I went through and see everything that happened. Here I am lighting up now the 2 charcoals. I used 2 in the last one. I've actually moved away from my shed this time. The fire last time, I didn't realise it was going to be so vigorous, so I thought I'd take a little extra precaution this time and move away. And I've also managed to get hold of a set of tongs to hold the charcoal with. The charcoal, as I said in the last video, it lights up extremely hot, and it burns, I would imagine, it would burn at around 200 to 300 degrees centigrade. And in an enclosed environment, of course, it heats up quite a lot more. If you consider when you're creating a barbecue, if you make a barbecue and you put the lid on it, you usually get about to 300 to 400 degrees. So we're just going to heat it up and get it going. Again, you won't be able to see very much the heat itself because it is daylight, and the only thing you see really is a bit of a grey to the charcoal as it gets red hot. And as you can see, just about see on the edges as I'm doing it, you can see a bit of grey there. I turn it over as well to make sure that both sides are well lit. First thing I've got to say about this pouch and the box really is the quality of it is so different to the LiPo. The LiPo just felt like a nylon packet. This feels completely different. This feels metallic. Although it is soft and pliable, it feels metallic. And the Velcro on this is incredible. It's the strongest Velcro I've ever seen. It is so powerful. I think if I put it on the wall, I could stick myself to a wall with it. But I'm babbling away here just to take up the time of lighting these coals. They're almost there now. Just a few seconds more and we'll put them inside the pouch. As I said with the last pouch, I put them in and it started almost immediately to burn straight through, so I had to open it up quite quickly to do the second pass of the test before the, before the coals actually burn through. Now, as I said, I'm not making any cuts or speeding this up at all, so you can see all the little mistakes I'm going to make as I go through it. So we're going to put it inside and close the flap down. One thing about the other pouch as well is when you closed it, there was quite a significant gap in the flap itself. This one is a lot more firmly closed, although there is still a gap, which you would need, of course, to run a wire through. Touching the top of it there, I couldn't feel any heat at all. So just leave it for a few moments. It was about now the other one started burning through, but there's no warmth at all on the bottom of this. It doesn't feel any different at all. We'll have a look in a moment. We just close it down a bit more tightly so I can show you the underside as well. It's still cool. There's no heat at all. As you can see, there's no discoloration or anything. It looks exactly the same and it feels exactly the same. So let's give it a bit longer, I think. We'll just open it up first. Leave a bit of air get in. And then just as with the other one, we're going to, in a moment or two, try the blowtorch to heat them up. But we'll just leave them a bit longer. As you can see, there's a little bit of discoloration inside. But it's not burning through at all. It's just a dirty mark more than anything. Let's just leave the air gate at it so there's a bit more oxygen getting in. Now, like I said, these are not intended to be used for this, and the instructions do say that you should keep them firmly closed. I should really tell you what they are intended for. These are for documents that you may want to keep, or important photographs that you want to store in case of a fire in the house. You'd put this on the bottom shelf or in a safe, and with the documents firmly sealed inside, it would protect them from the heat of any fire that should happen, so that if you have insurance documents or your last will and testament, important family photographs or other documents that you must keep safe, this would protect them in the case of a fire. So that's the intended use of it, and of course we're doing it the opposite way about, because the fire here is really on the inside rather than the outside. So again, I stress this is not the use that it is intended for, but at the moment it is outperforming the LiPo guard, which was supposed to be able to withstand the heat incredibly well. You see a little bit of smoke escaping from the pouch there. But again, as I said, remember that this is supposed to be sealed, and even sealed, the other one was burning through almost immediately. This is barely discolored. Again, I'll open it up and show you. And again, you can see it's just a bit of discoloration in there. I'll open it up a bit further so you can see better. By prying, that's it, just put this there. And that'll hold it open so you can see inside as I apply the extra heat. Now, the gun that I'm using produces a flame at its hottest, I think at about 600 degrees. And if I remember rightly, the pouch is rated for 400 degrees. In fact, I think the flame or the torch at its hottest may go up to 800. You can use it for brazing. And again, I'm applying the heat directly to the coals and not to the pouch. And if you remember, or if you haven't seen the other one, go and watch it after this. You'll see as soon as I did this, the other one just caught on fire completely and started burning vigorously. But this is doing nothing. Again, there's discoloration around where the coals are. The coals are burning, but the actual pouch is not doing anything. I don't know if you can still see it now. I'll move the coals about again so you can see inside. In fact, I'll take them out in a moment. Let's just close it down again and we'll have a look underneath. Tiny bit of discoloration there, but I think that's from the cold outside rather than from the heat inside. And I can keep my hand on there quite easily. There's no heat coming through, or very little. We'll just get this open again and we'll get these coals out. Perhaps we'll be able to see it a little bit better. As you can see, it's scorched inside, discoloured, but it's still whole. The fabric itself is held up, and the outside is completely untouched. So the material in between as well has protected the outside from the heat that's inside. So let's go on now and see how far we can go with this. I'm going to light my torch again, if the wind will allow me to, and we're going to apply direct heat, the hottest part of the torch, to the fabric and see how well it holds up. You can see it's discolouring and scorching. If I put the highest part of the heat on it, it's still holding up, still hasn't burned through. Even holding the hottest part of the torch to it. And eventually we get it to burn through. But again, it's only gone through to the intermediate material, it's not gone through to the inside. I've got to say, this is beyond my expectations. I was expecting it to fail like the other one, not so dramatically I must admit, but I thought it would burn through quite quickly. The other side is still cool, just slightly warm to the touch. I can even touch this side, it's cooled down almost immediately. You can imagine retrieving it from a fire and being able to take out the document straight away. So that's the pouch. Let's have a look at the box. Now the box is quite big, but as I said, this is a prototype of a box that they are thinking of making for LiPo batteries for when they're being charged or stored. So we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to put the coals in as we did before, but we're going to go even further with this one. I've got something else planned for this. So the coals are inside now, and we're going to leave the top open for a while so that they get plenty of oxygen to do their work. Again, normally the top would be closed to contain the fire and to cut off any oxygen to fuel the fire. Again, nothing happening, not even a wisp of smoke coming off it. Have a look inside. I can't see even a discolouring, but now we're going to add a little something. It's actually a non-explosive accelerant. One thing I've got to say, of course, is please do not try any of this at home, and definitely don't try it this part. It is extremely dangerous and you could be quite badly injured. So we're going to light the accelerant now. Again, I'm in trouble with my torch, getting it to light up. And the accelerant's lit and you can see the flames inside the box. Burning away there. You can still see that the box is only just slightly discoloured inside where the coals are. We'll leave that burn a bit. I think we're going to need to add a little bit more of the accelerant. Flames are dying down. As you can see, it's burning quite well in there. You could almost build a barbecue inside this box. I don't know if you're noticing, but if you look at the outside of the box, there's no difference to the outside whatsoever. Nothing's discoloring, nothing's changing colour in any way. The material used, I don't know exactly what the composition is, but I believe it's got some form of aluminium coating on it. The intermediate material is some sort of fiberglass, but I can't be absolutely sure on that, so please don't quote me on it. I'm sure the producers would have far more information for you. And that's all died down, so let's go a stage further and add a lot more accelerant. Drop the whole cup in. Okay. As I said, I haven't edited this video in any way. It's exactly as it's being filmed. So all my little mistakes as well. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who's going to call me an absolute idiot for actually doing this. But I do have a CO2 canister handy and a bucket of water in case I get burnt myself. And again, I say, please, please, please do not try this at home. So let's close it down as per the instructions. So with the charcoal inside, 3 lots of accelerant, including half a cup in the end and the cup itself. Just give it a few seconds and we'll open it up again and see what damage has been done. As you can see, the fire's gone out immediately. You can see the discoloring from where the accelerant was and from where the charcoal was, but as you can see, it hasn't even burned through the first part. It's hardly even charred the first part. The underside is cold. Well, as cold as the box was when I first brought it out. So incredibly, it has had absolutely no effect on the box itself. It hasn't burned through the inner layer whatsoever. Here are some photographs of the pouch, inside and outside, to show you the damage what was done when actually using the charcoal in that. And here's the box. As you can see, the underside is completely clear, no damage whatsoever. Now the company themselves, Blazepak, I'm extremely grateful to them. I reached out to them, and as I said, they didn't have to, but they did supply these items for test, and you can find out exactly what they're really meant for by visiting their website. And there's also a link below to the Amazon page if you would like to buy them. And I have to say, for the price that they are charging for them, they're very, very well worth it. Not only that, but the life of a family member, a loved one, or anyone for that matter, is worth all the money in the world. I highly recommend Blazepak. Thank you for watching.